Organizers of the All Souls procession are quick to point out that the event is a participatory experience. Everyone is invited to share in the collective expression of what they call a festal culture.
I mean, I think you can see that in the amount of people that come out every year, more and more people. It's almost like we don't really know what we're missing until we realize what we're missing.
Nadia Hagen is the artistic director for Flam Chen and one of the directors for the All Souls procession. She says the procession, although inspired by Latin American Day of the Dead traditions, is actually an amalgam of many cultural identities.
So just having that sense of that real emotional experience of being able to come out, see your neighbor, experience just real raw human emotion, grief, sadness, joy, celebration, and just with your feet on the street and with your neighbor next to you, and feel that camaraderie, of being in a crowd and being able to appreciate, the expressions that your neighbors bring out.
Hagen says the All Souls procession has grown with each successive year. This year, 2 accomplished acrobatic stilt walking groups are collaborating in a bicultural performance as part of the grand finale. The project is called Dios de la Adrenalina, and it's been on tour for 6 months.
When someone sees Dios de la Adrenalina, they get a lot of spectacle initially, because the acrobatic stilts is kind of like eye candy. It's very kind of uplifting.
Jay Ruby is the founding director of the Carpetbag Brigade from San Francisco, one of the groups collaborating on the project. He says the bicultural roadshow consists of acrobatic theater, music, and spoken word from the United States and Colombia.
What we've done through our time together is put in content that slowly emerges. And it's a type of content that really addresses a lot of the socio-political history between Colombia and the US, not in a pedantic manner, but more in terms of the emotions that are evoked or that the countries have experienced through what you could say is the illicit trade of guns and drugs between the 2 nations.
Ruby says Dios de la Adrenalina is a project that seeks to articulate the human connections that exist across 2 cultures. Nicolás Cifuentes, the artistic director of the Colombian stilt walking group Nemcatacoa Teatro, says the collaborative project has been transformative for everyone involved.
The point of departure is what is those hidden relationships for Carpetbag or for Jay as an American, and what does that mean for me as Colombian, being one of the, cocaine producers countries in the history in the 80s, and what that means, grow up with that, and now have the opportunity to talk about that. So it's all that mixed together what kind of create the performance.
The touring bicultural roadshow also features spoken word from Tucsonan Logan Phillips of Verbo Bala.
We spent 6 weeks together in Colombia in 2012, the Carpetbag Brigade, Nemcatacoa, and Verbo Bala, along with Hojarasca, the musical group. So all 4 groups lived together, ate together, and rehearsed and created together. And for me, it was really challenging, but also very rewarding to kind of work with the wisdom of the group, because I believe groups of people are always wiser than any one person alone. And so to kind of tap our collective unconscious that we were creating together around issues relating to Colombia and the United States.
Phillips says this project serves as a logical step into the collective nature of the All Souls weekend activities.
I find that Dios de la Adrenalina and the All Souls procession have in common a breaking of the myth that somehow the audience and the performers exist in separate spaces, and one is there to serve the other, and they're not somehow interacting. And it's been so instructive to feel how whoever it is that is at that performance changes our energy in the performance, and the sort of unspoken and sometimes under-acknowledged collaboration that there is between the audience and the performers, and how a place makes the performance what it is.
Hagen says the participatory nature of these events illustrates the community's need to express itself and to come together in a collective manner.
it was all very foreign to people, that idea that they could be hands-on, that they could have this vision, and that they could, they would sort of resist and say, well, I'm not an artist, I don't know how to create that. But given the tools, I think that we as human beings are expressors, in whatever genre, whatever, tool, whatever medium that is. And Tucson's really proved that.